Welcome.
Hi, this is the Deadset show. We are your hosts, Jax and
Duffy's.
We try to sort out some difficult issues such as religion.
Politics.
Look at different policies coming out from like the left and
Right?
quick shout out to Copacabana Cellars.
Yes.
Drink
Drink
responsibly.
responsibly, guys.
Um,
Jesus did. Okay.
Sneaky bastard. Shout out to our constant viewers, Davey. Thank you very much. Quick disclaimer: the opinions and ideas of the host of the show do not directly represent the opinions and ideas of the Deadset show. With that being said, episode 10.
Episode 10. Double digits. Let's go.
Cheers.
Woo! I'm stoked. Cheers. I guess it's going to be out of frame here, but cheers.
We disappear.
Yeah, that drink has been diminished.
We cheersed in the ether somewhere.
Somewhere in the ether. No,
So I thought
I'm very stoked. We should do it. You know, that's a fair call in the soundboard of things.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work. I
Alrighty.
thought today we'd talk about racism. So I've got this little video, obviously, I wanted to show you. We've set it up beforehand, so we'll go into that soon. But I wanted to talk about racism, the old school Looney Tunes, the black on white stuff.
Yeah.
Look, I'll start by saying, obviously racism exists. You can discriminate against people by the color of their skin. That is obviously a thing that can happen. In terms of, does it happen much anymore? Compared to what it used to, like, a few hundred years ago, definitely not. It's definitely not what it used to be. It used to be immense. To be fair, it's been immense all throughout the world in different areas.
And racism is it's a form of hate.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's picking a different race that isn't. Yeah, it's just picking a different race that isn't yours and deciding that they're lesser than you and you can do whatever you want to them. And there's a whole host of things that you can do that could be classified as racist. Like saying nasty things, coming up with like fucking words to use, slurs to use against specific races, and that obviously offend them. Obviously, there's violence. There's all sorts of things you could do that'd be classed as racist. In my life, it took me understanding words to understand what racism was, because as a young kid, I thought racism, the word meant hate against black people.
Oh, just strictly?
Yeah, no one explained this is what racism is.
Because I guess that's where a lot of people's mind sort of goes.
I would only see white people being called racist.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're seeing.
And I did see white people being racist at times too. So I thought, until I actually understood words enough logically to, look up and know their meanings, I guess, when, the second awakening when you're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember that was my first understanding of the word. Which was then really weird because I could see it happen in the older generations almost and hear about things happening, but in my own life, I would typically more so only kind of see, at least in school and stuff, I would see kids that were dark-skinned get a lot of love. From teachers, from other kids, they were the most
at least from
popular kid. Everyone wanted to be friends with them. At
least from my perspective as well, I would say I didn't see what we would deem as what racism would be much growing up. At least in my growing up in school and stuff. That's what I didn't really see much of it. It was just that was
Well, did you typically see what I saw then? Did you see the black kids in school were the popular kids to a degree?
I guess
there would be the odd outlier to a degree, but it was 90% and less than 10% of the kids in school would be black. But 90% of the black kids were super popular. Everyone loved them. They were the coolest kids. That was my experience. And I went to 3 different high schools.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I seen a fair bit.
Yeah. You would have seen a bit more in terms of
Yeah, I went to the top, the most top tier like private grammar school you can get in my area. I went to a Christian Adventist school, and then I went to like a local public school to finish off because at the time I was training and fighting, and it was just I could get to the gym earlier.
That was when
School finished and started an hour earlier,
Mm.
which meant it was just a whole extra hour of the afternoon I could have.
Yeah,
There was
true.
nothing I could do in the morning.
Yeah.
And to me, there was no real. I couldn't see an academic difference between the school I was at the time and the school that you went to, which was the one that I moved to.
Yeah, moved to. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I knew plenty of kids from that school, and I went, they're not stupid. Like, so I actually looked up the difference between what their academic quotas are, and there wasn't anything that suggested that the kids at the school I went to were smarter or they had better education. It was just like a nicer school ground and like, stricter clothing.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, it was interesting having you at my school, man. That was
Interesting. I'll take that.
I felt like I was just spectating like some dude just finishing all these quests, like the right ones, like the ones that don't really involve the schoolwork, but just more holding every motherfucker accountable. Excuse my language.
I mean, it was
But-
like, what could
It was
I planned on leaving at the end of that year. I planned on leaving
it
school,
was fun
so
to
it was
watch.
always like,
it was fun to watch.
yeah, I didn't really have that thing a lot of kids had. It was like, oh, I'm gonna have to deal with these kids the next like few years. I was like, nope, 6 months max, and I'm fucking out of here.
And guess what? They still pop up from time to time.
They
because
still do, but the funny thing is, like,
at least
especially
it's
the
not
ones
a
I
date,
had,
like a weekly occurrence. Right?
yeah, I mean, it's still it's only every now and then, but I mean, the people that I did have dramas with, or at least kind of, had a crack at some point for whatever reason.
Yeah,
typically,
absolutely.
like, pretty, like, welcoming when they see me. They're quite nice. They're pretty open. They want to have a
Everyone's-
conversation.
Everyone's sort of matured a bit, which is
Most people
it's
have.
great.
Most
Yeah,
people
most
do.
people, yeah,
Most people do.
most, not all.
Some
Not
of you,
all.
some of you are just fucking doomed. Sorry, but
We need
yeah.
like a man-child like sound or something on the soundboard.
What's a man-child sound?
I don't know, just someone calling out "man-child," like you know what I mean. So
Can
we
you
don't
cry
have to
like
do
a
it.
baby, but also in a deep voice?
Yeah, that could work. We could figure that out.
Wah.
Wait.
Wah.
Wow,
That was
is too
gross.
fun. That is too fun.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna record that. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that drilled me. That got me.
Yeah. Well,
That
we
got
should.
me. And I've been in the sun all day.
Yeah. Well, we have been working.
Yeah, it's
way
been
too
flat
much
out.
this week.
So yeah. Anyway, the point was then, it was definitely in my experience there was not racism against black people.
Yeah, it wasn't at least what it seemed like either at a time.
At least
From
our
what-
generation
what we-
doesn't do
Yeah,
it.
I generally have never seen it, and if someone was to be pulled up on it, like generally, if that was to happen, that everyone would just be like, "Nah, you're racist."
Oh
you know
yeah,
what
no,
I mean? So
you
just-
wouldn't stand a chance. That'd be like the worst thing in the world you could ever do. That would be
Oh,
like,
shout out to Nick. Sorry.
oh, howdy Nick.
G'day, Nick.
Mwah. Mwah. Thanks
Legend.
for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I look at like social media things happen in America and I see like the rules that they have, the laws that they have now in place to like, affirmative action, affirmative action that's not my issue. DEI is my issue. But
we
it's
can get into affirmative action another time.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Well, look, that's not a horrible thing to put in place. It's that it's just I fucking hate it.
The
I hate it.
exhale, the-
I hate
Well,
it.
should we-
I hate it. I hate it. So what I want to,
yeah, I think we should get into what
Well,
we were gonna.
we'll have to lead up. But
Yeah, we'll
what
leave
I
there, yeah.
what I wanted to do was then go over this this difference between, I guess, Australia and America. Clearly, that must be of the case because everything I see on social media that comes out of America is saying there's still racism. I still see black people saying, like it's enough, it's horrible. We still have such a harder time. It's so much harder for black people to get a job, and it's weird because like when I think of like when I think of people in like really nice cars and have nice houses and things like that in America, like the top people I think of, like a small group of them would be like white.
Mm.
Like it's
Yeah, true.
it's really odd for me. Like, you know, it's a great example. You ever like sometimes for fun, just for a little giggle, I like to watch the Fresh and Fit podcast. It's
It's an interesting. It's interesting.
it's a giggle.
Because
It's a laugh.
it's
Oh, it's the craziest of the
you can
crazies.
tell these guys are like completely done with like putting up with anyone's crap.
Oh, yeah, they're
regardless
fed
of
up.
your gender. But
They're
like,
fed up.
I mean, he does have. Myron does have a book.
Called Why Women Deserve Less. Yeah, I know. Gnarly, right? Gnarly.
What is that's a
That's
a statement.
Baited in just a title.
Yeah. You people will be like, I now want to read this.
Why are we
because what
plugging
is he
this
gonna
guy's
say?
book? Get Fucked by Jax Watson, coming out soon.
Yeah, coming out soon.
But on their show, the majority of like, because they have like special guest men come on, and I guess the majority like special guest men that I've seen, and I haven't watched every episode, or probably not even the majority of them, but a fair few that I see, it's typically darker skinned or black people that are in like the successful man special guest role that they have in on that show. So it's like, well, are they finding these outliers, or is there actually a respectable amount of like wealthy, successful black people in America?
I typically see those wealthy ones either more conservative or like / Republican in their views. But I think that's sort of what America is at right now, is that you've got one side saying like, saying that black people have like an attitude to white people, but white people should just cop it and all this stuff. And it's sort of like, I don't know, it's that sort of political side with that mindset, it's built to weigh you down. You're just wasting brain matter, and then you just, I don't know, I just see, for some reason, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just see a big sort of contingency line of people who are successful in that realm is typically like, it's an African American who like considers themselves as a conservative or a Republican.
Yeah, I think they do mostly on that show. They're typically more conservative and stuff as well. But it's I don't know, it just seems odd to me that there's this massive push towards like stopping racism against black people where I can't see it evidently clear, and where I do see it evidently clear, I see the majority of the world against that person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody knows what the KKK is.
Yeah.
Everybody hates the KKK, but the KKK.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean everybody.
Everybody, yeah. It's like
everybody.
It's like Hitler or like Stalin.
Yeah.
Right?
So like,
we
here's the crazy thing.
Universally, just if you've got common sense.
Yeah. So there's a group that's literally their primary focus is just like white supremacy. They just don't like dark-skinned people, literally. Melanin bad. Oh, no good. Porcelain skin. Great.
Isn't that crazy? You have to be at some sort of low level of intelligence
to
look at someone and be like...
I mean, that's a nice way of calling someone a dumb fuck.
Low level of intelligence?
Yeah.
It's... Look, I'm trying to be respectful and love everyone. So you got to sort of like, but then I don't want to. It's all right. It's fine.
I'll play like the.
It's like good
the
cop,
Hood
bad
Obama cop. Key and Peele.
Good cop,
fucking
bad cop.
little thing.
We'll just do that. It's that. That's it's.
Do you remember that little thing from Key and Peele? They had that little thing. Obama, they had like bad Obama. Yeah, it's kind of pretty much. I can clear that up for you.
No, thank you.
No
I appreciate that. At least then I don't usher the words. And then I'm still talking about Christ here and there, so I'm like, dude, come to Christ whilst this is all happening.
I'll just leave that out. That's fine. I won't speak on that. I won't speak on that. That'll be okay. So I think if there's a whole group that's against one race, that's against black people,
isn't that racism?
Everybody that is racism. But if everybody hates them, that says to me that racism against black people worldwide for the majority, is it a prevalent thing in the world? No.
No.
Does it exist? Yeah, sure.
It does.
Like, there is the KKK. It exists because the KKK exists. So there is obviously racism against black people.
Yeah.
But by the same logic then, if the majority of people hate them, then the majority of people aren't racist against black people. They literally hate the group that's main goal is racist, and if you hate them, and you disown them and disavow them, you got nothing for them, does that not literally say, well, I completely disagree with their views? Like, would you say you are at all secular?
No.
Because you completely disagree with the secular view, right?
But
Which means that if
I
you...
don't hate them at all. I like hate secular people.
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
I don't hate secular people at all.
Fair point. So if you, so would you say that someone that does would be completely fucking, you know what I mean? I mean, Christians, it's hard because you're told not to hate someone. So let's just say if you're another religion and you hate this other religion, look, someone's definitely Muslim if they hate Christians.
Well, you have to kill us infidels.
Yeah,
which are
and you're
Christians.
Definitely not like,
And Jews.
you definitely not hate, like, you definitely don't have hatred against Muslims if you are a Muslim that hates Christians. That makes no sense.
Yeah, right.
If you hate a group whose main goal is racism, that to me just completely means you're not racist.
That's true, but I think hate is a strong word because hate it kind of you could dislike.
Oh, and I think the majority hate. I think if we caught a bunch of KKK members and put them in front of the majority of the world and let everybody vote, do we put them in prison for life or give them the death sentence, or do we give them 5 years or what? I think the majority of people would vote for prison for life or death sentence.
That requires it's simple.
I've never had I've talked to a lot of fucking people in my life, a lot of people, and more than most, and I've never ever talked to anybody that I would think for a second. And yes, like this podcast is extreme topics and conversations, like I do this with everybody. So I know a lot of people's like deep, dark opinions on things. I know how to suss out what they like without...
Deadset?
Yeah, I know I dead set know how to suss out what they like and not seem like I'm against them. Like I can dig in a little bit and seem like I'm neutral.
It's a good skill to have in terms of like why we have this show.
Yeah. And I have never met a person that's like, yeah, the KKK's doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, you never. If you saw someone like that, you'd be like, why is your hat pointy? Oh, right, you are.
Like, I've even met people that will straight up be like, fucking Indians and servos everywhere. But when I'm like, what do you think about the KKK? They're like, oh, that's just fucking stupid. Well, get together and get in gowns just to hate black people. Like, they're not all bad. They're just a skin color. What they have a problem is something deeper than just Indians. It's a whole thing that they've taken over a whole sect of work in Australia. It's a deeper thing. They just don't know how to conversate on it properly. But again, I don't think love for the KKK exists outside of the KKK.
It doesn't unless you're one of those guys who got locked up, or those multiple guys who got found out to be the white supremacists in Australia or whatever. Weirdly enough, all these guys dress exactly like me, except with I don't wear sword stickers. That's beyond that would be just terrible, right? But these guys literally look like if there was like create a player and I was like preset 3 or something.
That photo you showed me was fucking hilarious.
They're all reckon preset 3 like I am, but they've just changed some variations and they all look like me. And I'm like, dude, I really hope now people aren't going to stereotype me. It's going to be weird. But like it's the windbreak. They had windbreakers on and stuff. I wear a windbreak. Like, there's a windbreaker on in another episode. I was like, dude.
It was super close.
This is super scary because I don't affiliate with these guys at all.
Yeah, no, I'm safe. I'm part Abo and like South African, so I'm all fine. South American.
Oh, I was gonna go South Africa.
South African. No, it's a South American. One of those jungle people.
You're South American. I didn't know you were partially South American.
Yeah,
I'm half Antarctican.
Where does that even come? Is it penguin relation or ice relation, or is it just the snow, the white snow?
I think it's just my pale complexion.
I was gonna say you have the efficient build for it, but you don't, because I think of like polar bears and penguins are covered in a layer of fat to keep them warm. You'd fucking freeze to death.
Yeah, I'd just be done. Yeah,
You'd just insta turn to a block of ice, and I'd
Yeah.
look, and like a minute later, I'd be
dude,
following right after.
I'm that white. I get moonburn, so like I don't know. I don't think I will survive. But we can do a Bear Grylls and just watch me get mangled. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a bad way to go out. We just put it on camera, and I'm kidding.
Oh god, I gotta work on a Bear Grylls voice now. You've got me. I was like, fuck, perfect time.
Shout
I
out to
don't have
Bear
one.
Grylls, man.
Yeah.
He's a Christian.
Good on you, legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
So yeah, that's that. I mean, that's my pick anyway. I just think if the majority of people hate the group that is all about racism, I think majority of people aren't racist. I think if you have a black leader of the country, a black president, means majority of people voted for them, which means majority of people didn't have a problem with him leading the country, which didn't really care about his skin color.
Yeah.
He has that much power. He could do some crazy things. You would have to revolt to go against the things that he would decide to do at that point. And a majority of people gave him power. They obviously didn't care about his skin color. I don't think most people care about. I think an overwhelmingly majority of people.
If you're like really again poor intelligence, like you'll have a problem with it because it's a certain amount of hate that really requires not much brain power to realize the repercussions of that. But like, yeah, I agree. Like, I think it's not really like.
And thinking like white people are smarter than dumb people is a crazy thing. Because have you ever seen white people are smarter than black people?
Did you say white people are smarter than dumb people?
Than dumb people, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. No, white people smart. It's stupid to think that white people are smarter than black people because have you seen a Down syndrome person?
I have plenty of times.
There is a lot of Down syndrome people in the world, or at least there is a lot of them on, like, if most people are getting where they get the idea that there's racist things and stuff, like, there was only a couple hundred people around when George Floyd died, but that was a massive thing about racism. But millions seen it on their phones, on social media. If most of these people are getting these ideas from social media, like...
Oh, that's what's happening, dude. So many people, right, I kid you not, in our generation are like, oh, I heard, and it's like a random fact about something that's not even a fact. It's just talent, like, it's just something that they found on TikTok. Anyway, they're like, yeah, I heard this, blah, blah, and it's this, and like, they're willing to fight the point. And I'm like, where'd you find that? And they go, TikTok? And I just go...
Exactly, it's a shitload of it. So if like...
it's the biggest sigh in the world.
And maybe it's my algorithm because I find it funny, but I see a whole lot of Down syndrome people on social media, and most of them, overwhelming majority, are white. So if you're gonna say that like skin color determines like intelligence, do we include that into the mixture of things? Because that dulls down the number a giant amount. I just think like. I think like that averages out. Like if all the main IQs are up here, the majority, and there's like now we include this big group of people that are here. It's gonna go like the middle is gonna go from somewhere up here down to here. Yeah, so I just don't think it's a good. I don't think it's never gonna be a good idea to try and determine people's like intelligence or worth or creativity or morality or anything based on their skin color, and I don't think most people do that. I think a lot of people like hanging out with people from where they come from. Like Greek people are a lot the same color as Turkish people, but the Greek people like hanging out with Greek people because they talk the same language and have the same culture and do the same things. Sometimes it's just that.
It's just a familiarity, and that's how they're just.
It doesn't really matter, and you can tell that because when like someone of a completely different race grows up in a neighborhood that has a certain culture with a bunch of people that aren't that, then they completely associate to that, and you know what I mean. That's forever their culture.
Yeah.
Look at Eminem.
Yeah,
like it's
vanilla rice.
I don't know. That just like shows to me to some degree that's like, yeah, he's a clear example that like being racist is just stupid because you put someone of a completely different race into the same culture as somebody else and they can completely adapt to it if they grow up in it and almost excel within like fields that culture uplifts, which he did. So I don't think most people are racist. I think it's just I honestly think
people are just
it's
ill-informed. It's like where people like where people would have an argument against Christianity and be like, Jesus wasn't white, and you're like, what? Of course he wasn't white. He was literally born like literally in the Middle East. Like
He
in
would have
terms
been
of things,
darker
like,
than me with a bigger nose.
but that like people just see like it's as dense as someone seeing like a depiction of Jesus Christ and he's got pale complexion or like something a bit more on the paler side, and then they just think, oh, that's what he looked like. Well, he was born in the Middle East. How could he be white? And then it's just that surface level. It's like, come on.
It's
think,
dumb.
just think.
It's
before-
dumb,
Yeah.
but it's I don't know. So I see all these examples. I keep saying I don't know, but I do know. I fucking know about this. This is just the dumbest thing ever. There's all these.
Dude, honestly,
all
this is all Jack. This is me. This is what me and Jax ponder on every day. Like, is all this type of stuff is all like all the things that America is going through and all the problems that leak.
How much I
onto
should
other
hate
West-
myself because I have a dick and my skin color doesn't fucking pass a certain threshold of dark.
Yeah, I've been blamed for that my whole life, being a man and being white. It's pretty. It's like I get it's.
I mean, I have a pretty
been
good thing.
consistent.
I'm like, if you hate me because I'm a white man, fight me.
Do you think if someone because I've been blamed on as being a white male because white males are white males, it's just what does that even mean? Like, do you think that is like a form of racism and sexism? But actually, no. If it's not, it's usually said to me by white people, which is weird because I'm like, but you're. It's like the Spider-Man like pointing at each other. I'm like like the difference is different sex, but you're still white.
We'll make that for you. We'll remake you in the Spider-Man meme.
No, yeah, 100%, and we'll just be
We'll just
pointing
get a bunch
all at
of
me, and I'm
views,
like,
yeah.
dude, I'm white male, and I should be ashamed. Just like that's what we've had our whole lives, I think. Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, true.
most our like as soon as it went to like around adolescence, it really started to hit. It was like even before then, it was just like every person was warning me, be careful of straight white males, and you're just like,
I mean, I sit in this weird thing where I don't
I'm in
really
a society full of. I'm one dude, and you're like saying, be careful of me. Like what? I haven't even said a word yet. Like
Yeah. No, I sit in a weird middle ground. I don't know. Like I've definitely been put in the same box as like white males, but I also have been called the
dismissively
N-word in my life and the second half of the word cocoon.
Took me a second, but I picked up what he put
Yeah,
down.
I have been
Like
called
the cheese
that
brand.
a few times, and the N-word like a few times in certain scenarios.
What's the N word?
Oh no, rhymes with trigger. That one.
Which word is it?
Oh no, it's like a prevalent word in Ice Cube songs. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, no, I've copped it all around because I mean it's weird. Like I've got English heritage in me, I've got Aboriginal heritage in me, which is black, and then I've got white heritage in me. I mean Irish. No, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking talk.
Can you figure it out?
Oh, no.
I
I got English, Aboriginal, Scottish, and South American.
Hey, I got a bit of Scottish.
So
too.
it's like I got 2 sections of white and I got 2 sections of black, and they're mixed both between the XY and the XX. So
wow, yeah.
it's and then there's like other things amongst that too. It's a
So you
bit of German as well, I think.
You like owned the plantation and participated in it.
Yeah. I am the production of many, many bastardized children having more bastardized children. That is my family line.
It just immediately reminds me of Jon Snow. Jon Snow.
The Scottish one's cool. Watson's supposed to be a paternal takeoff of Wallace.
Dude, there's a castle named I'm named after like a castle in a suburb and stuff.
Yeah, we got like a little book that shows what our heritage was. We were a mercenary faction, a mercenary family, the Watsons.
Are you for hire? Can I hire your services? You're a mercenary. You have to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I
I
am
think.
now.
Well, awesome.
I won't plug my business, but it's close to that.
That's true. You're like the. No, I won't. It's like you're a cold mercenary.
Oh, I told. Yeah.
You're a frost.
We got
No,
because
I
I didn't change my email, but I changed my business name a while ago, but I didn't change the email yet. But yeah. Anyway, God, pardon. I don't think racism exists. I think it's
I think. I think it's. I think the more we,
at least like against black people in the majority,
the more
I
we
think that's
start like falsely diagnosing each other of racism. Like, if someone was to say, I don't know, something that was like, I don't know, like if someone goes, okay, there is actually more black on black crime than there is white on black crime. Or white on white crime, and someone diagnoses you and goes, "You're racist for saying that," because you get that. That's
we have seen it on social stuff. We've seen like main figures, get called racist pointing out statistics.
I think if we stop diagnosing people because of something that may have like sounded like you mentioned races, but it doesn't mean you're racist. That's a form of hate. Like you look at hateful people. That's all it is. It's like you have like all these things of like, oh, fascist, you're this, you're racist, you're sexist. All those are forms of hate. They all stem back to hate. It's all hate. And I don't look at like someone who, maybe like a lot of people have made racist jokes, but they do it behind closed doors. And I think like, okay, like God will judge, but like, whatever, right?
So here's a weird, as you say that, you say like hate, it's all hate. Like, I get why you're against that, because you're a Christian, but that's one thing that I'm definitely undecided on. I hear a lot of people constantly spouting on about hate. What's so bad about hate? Just, like, make an argument for why hate's a bad thing.
You wish, is it malicious? You wish malicious intent when it comes to hate compared to dislike. Like, if you dislike someone, you dislike just what they think, what their views are, you just dislike them. But hate comes with a bit more of, like, hate is it's a harsh word.
And what's the negative, but what's like the negative out fucking liar of if it's like you wish bad things
You're
upon
wasting
them.
brain matter and you could just drop it. That's all. That's the outline.
Do you reckon there's a real difference? Do you reckon? Because I know that there's plenty of people that work towards not hating people. I'd say that requires more brain matter than you saying, I fucking hate that.
Yeah, that's true. But I think like there is repercussions to hating someone because of their race. Like,
I'm not saying someone. I'm just saying hate. Like you can hate on someone. You can hate on something.
Just hate.
You can hate on you can hate on something that doesn't even exist, like a policy.
I think hate will always turn into something like if you think of things where you're like, I hate this person. You might even just randomly think of scenarios where you could fucking make the person feel, excuse my language, make the person feel like worse about themselves and all this sort of stuff. And then those can actually lead, because you're thinking these things and preempting these things, these can lead to actions. And then that's where it is a problem.
Right. So, but if I don't talk to a bunch of people about my hatred of something because I have a personal hatred of it, then why is it bad? And let's just say
you dislike their hatred, maybe.
Well, let's just say even like, so I don't tell a bunch of people. That makes you the better
person, right?
No, I just mean like, let's say I don't tell a whole bunch of people about it. I hate someone, right? For a specific thing. I don't influence other people. I just hate them. Well, that's not going to cause action. If I choose to not take action, that's not going to end up.
Definitionally, then, what is hate? Definitionally.
That I would rather something bad happen to them than neutral.
And and I think that's I think like
I would rather, like, if it's a thing, I would rather it be removed. I'd be happy for that to be gone. I don't find its existence to be worthwhile.
I think the problem where I sort of tackle is when it comes to a Christian worldview.
Yeah, see that, and that's why I see you can see that.
That's where I'd go, well, look, yes, I'm taught to love everyone, and I think that can be very easy. You can love your enemies for where they teach and lead you if you find wisdom in what your enemies do to you. But I think hate, it wastes it wastes too much brain matter and not for the greater good.
So what about when it doesn't waste though? Because what you're saying there is it does waste. Does that mean it always does? Because I think hating someone that's gone on a murder spree,
Oh, right.
like
Yeah.
hating a pedophile.
But that's morally justified, and I won't say that due to preference. I'll say that
Yeah.
it's morally justified through my religious belief.
Through your religious, yeah, and that's one thing, I guess. But
because there should be justice, absolutely.
Yeah.
But hate without even like only just by hating, just as surface level as say skin color,
yeah,
you're doomed. But if it is maybe what that particular group does, then we could look it
But
up.
see,
Of course, KKK. We don't want to like those people.
see, but there's a difference between hate and discrimination or like sexism or something. Like, yes, the term is it's hate because of this thing, but hate is an emotion just as happiness, sadness, love, something else would be. I feel it's a directed emotion towards someone or something, or even a non-existent thing. But I don't think that should not exist.
Deserves justice, in a sense. Like I think maybe that is when it's justified, is that hate. But I think as well, I just hate the sin, not the person, because this person is their
fair.
spirit.
But even so, you still hate the sin. Like I think there's too much talk from.
Could be in my worldview eradicated from that person if you know.
So, but they don't. But the majority doesn't stand for doesn't hold
that,
your
right?
whole worldview. I guess the majority doesn't hold your same moral standards. The majority of the world, especially you got to think of like the youth, they haven't actually founded some sort of moral standing yet. It's all on decision based. It's all preference based. So I think this constant talk about hate being bad and everyone's talking about hate and hate's the worst thing in the world. I think that's part of why everything is so fucked. I think people need to be comfortable with hating something for reasonable fucking, something reasonable. Obviously, hating someone because their skin is dark and yours isn't is a fucking stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think hate is the problem there. I think your directive or your logic or your reasoning is the problem.
Well, if you hate them, you want to see them suffer. If you love them but shame them, because people do feel shame when you tell them the right, what the thing if they're doing, then that could turn into a better outcome because they'll stop doing that. If they listen.
I guess, but that's like you're looking for the absolute optimal, and what I'm saying is
absolutely
what I'm looking at right now is something happens and a bunch of people go, let's look at all the things behind it, let's look at all the reasoning behind it and make, a moral standpoint about it. Let's make a moral decision on this. And I think an issue is a lot of the time people are so willing to just go, let's not use the word hate and let's throw all hate out the window and hate. Let's just get rid of hate. And sometimes you should fucking hate something because it is worth hating, because it is reasonable to hate, because if everybody hated it, then we would be able to get rid of it and there would be a change.
I hate the things that are pedophilia. I hate the things that are, like all the like the repercussions of sin in the world. I hate it.
Yeah, but I think the prescription we're giving people is what's wrong, because it comes back to people go, yeah, but I hate pedophiles and I hate this.
Those people's spirit, like in my defense, and I think even psychologically you could say, like in that way, is that those people spiritually or people just who they are. Yeah. I think with the right things you can and tools and utilities and talking or whatever, what have you.
Yep.
That can be turned in something for the greater good.
Exactly. So I don't think we should be putting the emphasis on hate being the bad thing. I think people's reasoning and people's logic.
Feel shame more, to be honest.
No. I think what I'm saying is I think what we should talk about when we talk about these specific things and people point out things that are happening bad in society, instead of us constantly doing this flow of going, well, let's not hate and show so much hate and stop hating. What I think we should do is say, let's look at the reasoning and the logic behind why you you hate something, because hate isn't a necessarily bad thing. Bad reasoning and bad logic is the bad thing.
Yeah, but hate, you still want something bad to happen to him. That's
bad.
You
want something bad to happen to a pedophile. Life in jail and castration is a bad thing.
Yeah. But that's justicial terms, right? Again, I understand if it's someone, but if you hate without logistical reasons, that is completely
Exactly.
false,
So the
then
problem
that
is
hate shouldn't be
so
justified.
the problem is people's logic and reasoning. The problem isn't hate.
That's true. It is yeah. That is true.
That's
the
what we need to
source of it.
focus more on. It's
Yeah.
that you people are fucking idiots sometimes. It's got nothing to do with you being too hateful. It's got to do with the fact that you're idiots.
Yeah.
It's got to do with the fact that some people are fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
The KKK isn't bad because they're hateful. The KKK is bad because
'cause
they're fucking stupid.
They're stupid.
That's the point. It's
Yeah.
not because they have hate. Hate
And-
can be reasonable and be a good thing and be a force towards something better.
But do we? Look, this is my grope when we look at it like I try to find the light in every tunnel even when it's dark, right? But should we look at it like, you know, if we don't like what they're doing and we hate what they're doing, I think there's always a way to shift that person away from it. But even if they're like, say, let's just say they're too stupid to sink it in, do we blame that because they're too stupid due to their lack of morality and logic? Or do we blame that they're too stupid because maybe they can't soak in life as good as the average Joe? And do we then blame that person, or we try to educate those people?
Well, I think you can try to educate, but when someone like
I guess if someone's
here's the
stuck
attempt
in
to
their
educate,
ways,
right?
yeah.
Here's the attempt to educate. It's as simple as this, right? You get a person from the KKK. Did you know that there's actually, when you look at the DNA of black people and white people, Africans and French people and South Americans and all this, it's all the same human DNA. You can't distinguish it differently in terms of DNA. You can trace backgrounds, that you can do all these things that determine all your family background, but you can't determine it at face value. Our skeletons are almost like there's slight differences in different parts of the world based on what we eat and how our skeletons develop and like heights and regions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you put people in the same area, our
think that's
skeletons are almost
adaptation.
it is. I think our skeletons are almost indistinguishable for the most part. Our DNA is indistinguishable. We are human DNA. So you tell this to the KKK guy, and you say, look at this, and then you show him IQ scores of a bunch of people that are black that are smarter than him after he takes an IQ score, and you go, so what's your thing? And if he still goes, fuck black people, then you fucking hate, hate him. You do something, you segregate him, you need to fucking start doing something instead of everybody going, we just need to not hate, because sometimes hate is a good thing, because it's all good for you to hate on someone that you think is hateful, but then you want to remove hate. I say, let's fucking utilize hate, but let's utilize hate with proper reasoning and proper logic, and we could actually get some shit done and change the fucking world. It's necessary to hate someone that's broken into your house and is about to kill your family. It's necessary to hate them, and if we start teaching people to wipe out hate, the world's gonna fucking fall.
I could come to that agreement of like, I hate that when I grew up, all I was taught about, like, to other people, like, not like, you know, my family really supported me in a lot of things. Shout out to Mum, by the way, she's in the chat. She also said, I agree.
Hey, Shell.
I agree, hate should not be in the dictionary.
See, I think it
Me
should
and Mum
be
are very
literally
similar with that, but yeah, it's one of those things where like I have had discussions, and it is with a lot of females, and they tell me that like white men are the problem, and I hate that they have to, like, I try to soak that in, and like throughout my whole life I try to soak that in and go, yeah, maybe like whatever is intrinsically in part of me is the problem. But what does that do to a kid growing up? Like I was shy as hell, dude.
And so you reasonably hate it. And so the difference between you hating it
but
and
I hate the hate. That's why. And how do you? All right. The only thing, at least in my defense, is if you want to fend off evil, you don't do it with evil. You do it with the greater good. It's why I'm pro-life.
But you don't hate the hate. That's not what you're hating on. You don't hate the hate that they gave you. You hate the bad logic and bad reasoning behind the hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not the hate.
But
it's like saying I hate the happiness or I hate the love.
But then what do you do then after you hate that, and then what do you do with that person?
Well, you do that. That's the difference between hate and dislike, because if I hate something, there's to some degree some willingness, I'm ready to do something about it or talk to people or make some sort of thing. But if I dislike something, I'll just avoid it. Now, if I dislike pedophiles, I just dislike
Avoid it.
them, I'll just avoid them.
Or-
But if
yeah.
I hate them, then I'll do something about it. And this is the difference. This is why you need to aim hate in a proper, reasonable directive. Now, do you hate the fact that you were racially and
Sexual
by gender by gender or sexuality discriminated against? That's what you don't hate.
I hate that. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't hate the hate.
But I'm not gonna I think the extent of my hate is just where like I either do something about it, but I
Yep.
have to do it for the greater good.
But to be fair, you are. You're
Yeah.
talking about it. You're pointing it out right
Yeah,
now. You're
that's
not.
true,
You're
yeah.
not just going. I just disliked it. It wasn't the greatest thing. You're not just
Yeah,
indifferent
I
from
agree.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
hate it, so you're pointing it out. You want people to see how ridiculous it is. That's the difference between hate and dislike. And hate is a good thing. It's a good thing that you point that out.
But then I still look at that struggle, right? Like this is not me disagreeing with you now, like
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, no, I get
But
you.
I still look at that struggle, and I look at it like I'm grateful. Like I know it's so like general of a saying, but I'm grateful when people say you can't have sunshine without the rain.
Yeah.
Because you like those things that do happen. At the end of the day, I don't love that it happens at all. I don't. But I'm grateful that it can sharpen my tool belt in how I venture in the ether of talking to people, because I
Okay.
know what not to look out for.
Yeah.
Because I hate that
Yeah.
sinful nature,
Mm.
but then I love that it gave me wisdom.
Yeah. And see, that's what I mean. It should
Yeah.
it should be a usable tool
But
because
then I want to be able to help these people.
look, of
still.
course, but see, look,
Yeah.
if you're doing the right thing, you're actually having a go in life. You should be able to empathize with most people in their positions, correct?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you should
at least-
and you should get to the point where you do that almost innately and instantly. Now, when somebody breaks into my home and is ready to kill me
I
and my
can't empathize
family,
with that.
see,
right?
here's the thing.
I could understand.
Part
if
of
he's
me
broke.
does.
If
Part
he's
of me will
But-
instantly hear me out. Part of me will instantly go, okay, I don't really want to kill this person because it's a person. That's an awful thing to do. But if he's got a gun to somebody's head or he's got a knife
or
or
you're
something,
like say a hypothetical wife.
what's the thing
children's
that
head, right?
so what's the thing that actually turns me from going, I care about this
Protection.
person just as much as the next person? No, it's hate.
It's
I have to utilize hate. I have
yeah.
to say, I hate this person for doing this. It's a reasonable position to take, and this all happens in a matter of,
Of
fucking
seconds.
nanoseconds.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's okay, no, I hate this person. I hate what they've done. I hate what they're doing, and it's the only thing that's going to get me through doing something about it, because otherwise I don't want to hurt a person.
Sit there complacent, right?
Well, I
and then
don't-
these people aren't
Exact-
going to be held accountable.
Imagine if I just disliked that you broke in and had my fucking wife by the throat.
But then you didn't do it.
But I was like,
that's the
oh,
thing
I don't really like that. Like, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I don't know. Same thing I do with like chocolate ice cream. I dislike it. I'll just avoid it.
But yeah, I guess so. I think the action that comes after what you hated, whether or not it's justicial terms of this person needs justice and you get them caught and you have the police involved, whatever the case may be, I think justice always needs to be served in the event of something sinful like that. Like, that's the sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's still, I think a lot of people that sit in my position that are probably really highly empathetic of people instantly and just, if you got a quick functioning fucking head, it's very easy to imagine yourself in somebody else's position. Because otherwise you're just bored.
Yeah, exactly right.
So,
And you gotta- yeah.
so I'm just constantly fucking bored. So I'm just like, I wonder what it'd be like to be this person. Oh, that's what it'd be like. So it's a constant fucking flow of things. And I think people with that same sort of mindset or that same thing going on would have to utilize hate. I've had to utilize hate to defend myself, to be able to do things. And
I think it works really well in the
and I
gym.
need to use-
as a guy, if you're
Yeah.
like going through something, whatever it is. I mean, great, you have something. Now you can use that something
Yep.
to manipulate, like to change the energy that you're
Yep.
trying to focus out into something beneficial.
Now, here's my argument, right? Hear me out. Hate's a standard human emotion,
Absolutely
and
is.
here's my reasoning for why we need to stop going. Hate's the problem. It's the hatred. It's the hate. I think everybody should focus on exactly what the hate is directed towards, or why, or what type of hate, instead of it being just hate itself. We need
because
to
it
actually
cancels out people's opinions. You
Yeah,
just
we
go,
need to
hate,
use we
and you
need to
just go,
use the word
hold on,
hate.
you
And
didn't even hear their word out or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
But like,
and here's why too, because in the same way that for years women and the woke and everyone else was saying men need to cry more, they need to let their emotions out because otherwise it festers up. No, hear me out, right? They say it festers up and it bubbles up and then it explodes and they can't control it, right? To some degree, you're right. It doesn't mean we need to cry. It means we need to have an outlet of some kind that lets out our frustrations and do things. Now, this is the exact same as hate. If you go around telling everybody you need to wipe out hate and say hate shouldn't be in the dictionary per se, what that means is people don't have this outlet. And I think it's healthier and better for everybody if we understand what hate is and we hate the right things, so we do something about it. Yes, we hate them. Yeah, that thing makes us angry and we need to get rid of it. Not dislike, like, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, we hate that. I hate that there are like the Papua New Guinean tribe does things to little boys. I hate that. I don't dislike it. I fucking hate it. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, tell me that's a wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
I think hatred should be a thing. I think to some degree you probably hate the devil. You hate sin. You hate people
exactly
using
hate people using
like saying bad things about Jesus, probably, or saying like awful things about Jesus or your religion. You hate those reasonably.
For my Lord, but I invite it because it gives people a matter of opinion and it gives me a choice to make it a safe space for me to talk.
But see, it's respectable for people not to sit there and bash your religion. To have a conversation or a debate's one thing.
If they respect, I generally think, right, if someone respected me enough to go, I'm going to respect your religion, they would never curse Jesus's name. But the thing is, it happens so often, it does even say in the Bible, we're all going to say Jesus Christ. But under, using his name in vain. And we all do, even if, like, people accidentally do. We all go, oh my God. And it literally says in the Bible. But those things strengthen my belief because I'm just so, like, I will die a martyr. And that's so full of faith in this whole Christian thing. It's...
Yep.
Yeah, and
that's an honest way to be. But this is my stretch of honesty. I feel like hate's usable. It's not hate per se isn't a bad thing. We need to be able to utilize and understand what hate is. I don't think there should ever be a point where we should try and wipe things out that have been a part of what's made us survive and be successful and eliminate bad things in the world and be able to make the world a better place. We utilized hate to do that. We just utilized it correctly. What we need to put more focus on, instead of saying we need to wipe out the hatred, we need to get rid of the hate. What we need to get rid of is the fucking low IQ. What we need to get rid of is people being idiots in the KKK. What we need to get rid of is people that can't understand the difference between shit post fucking just live social media posts and AI or real things.
Maybe we need to get rid of idiocy. IQ quota. Maybe we need a certain IQ quota in order to be able to vote. And now hold on for a second. The thing is, in that defense, when I say that, is that even if you look at, say, an 18-year-old and then 18-year-old's able to vote, also when you're 18, the world of nightclubs, bars, alcohol, all the stuff that was illegal as a minor, now it becomes legal.
Yep.
All this stuff all opens up to you. What do you think you're going to do with that playground? You're probably going to, see, which ways fail, which ways don't, because you want to
we were talking about this the other day. Yeah, exactly.
And if you look at, at 18, you're a functioning member of society and you should be able to vote. Do you think the difference between an 18 and a 17-year-old is significantly higher when it comes to politics?
Do you think an 18-year-old that doesn't know politics' vote is the same value as, say, mine, that knows what the fuck's going on?
If we actually had a bit more of a stricter voting system, I think the country would run better because you'd be very more well-informed instead of diagnosing people like idiots or just running into propaganda or getting your information from TikTok, dude. I can't stress this enough.
No, it's a simple, because here's a great example of why you should do that, right? AI is becoming a thing in the world. So let's say you're looking at two political parties that are looking at two ways to whether or not we're going to use AI. Like, look, this happened with drones. I remember when the voting came around in Australia, there was that two opposing parties had very opposing laws on drones.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They've
Same thing with
critically
AI.
gone through.
Now, if you can't if you can't follow the logic or memorize enough, or even be able to read a big enough sentence, a big enough paragraph story to understand what the topic is about, then you shouldn't have a fucking say. It's as simple as that.
That well, like, why do they have right? Like, even agreeing to your point. Why do they have the legal age to be the president, right? To be this age? Oh, you need a certain amount of political understanding.
You need enough experience.
So
You need
does
to be able
that
to see enough
require
of the world.
time? Because that's what it seems like at 35, and if it or whatever
Yeah.
the case may
So
be, it's around the 30s.
I don't think
And
age
if
should
that's
be
the
a thing.
thing, is that like if you do, I feel like you need to pass a certain quota to be able to understand. If you don't understand, and you're a functioning member of society, guess what? There's books, read.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're not going to just feel sorry for you because you're left behind. Read things if you feel like you can't vote, and then you're knowledgeable enough, and then you can vote. That's how it should be.
Yep.
I definitely did
Pretty
not know
simple,
what was going on at the age of 18, but I was spitting the same rhetoric as men are all dangerous and scary and this, that. Me as a white male, and me being racist towards my own race, which isn't racist because I guess I'm white, but it's self-inflicting. Like, I hear all this stuff, I'm spitting this same rhetoric, and then I realized, oh right, I'm just getting a bit controlled by a lot of propaganda.
Yeah, that's mostly what it is. It's
That's
a bunch of shit. So, yeah, to bring it back to the racism thing though, then it's just not a fucking. It's not a prevalent thing that happens across most people, because I would hope to think then that most people have access to enough information to understand these facts. Like, there's no real IQ difference between races at face value. Like, it's about education and things like that. And you know what? It's not even about education. That's just bullshit. I'm sick of people saying it's about education. It's not about education.
It does not determine
you can educate yourself.
Yeah.
It's not about education.
It doesn't determine your intelligence.
Yeah, it's about motivation. It's about motivation, and that's just
it is.
And that's got nothing to. That's not even like, oh well, maybe you were born with that. And that's just luck. You know what? There's no law we can sort out that's going to fucking equalize shit between people that are just fucking lucky and work harder, and the fastest sperm that came out the sack was a fucking weapon, and it just did really well.
I wonder if socialists had they were in charge of like not letting that fastest sperm win. Because that's you.
I mean, that's the next step. That's equity. Yeah.
They will go, oh, you were the fastest sperm. Shame on you. And you're like, I don't even remember that. Dude.
That's my new argument for anybody.
That's what's gonna happen.
You were the fastest sperm.
Yeah.
Whereas there was like 33 million others that could have had a life.
Are we going to have equality
you
for that?
selfish prick.
Let's make it equality now. Let's just have 33,000 kids all at once, because they all need to be equally justified for. Hold up. But anyway, that's just a random hypothetical. I'm probably predicting something down the road.
It could go that way, to be honest. It could go that way. But I think I really think that's it's a stupid fucking notion to be pointing all the shit towards hate. And I think what we should do is start pointing out that hate exists and hate can be used for a good thing. And like, instead of black people saying I hate white people, like instead of black people saying like, that feel racism a lot, instead of them saying I hate white people, they should say things like I hate racist white people. That makes complete sense.
Because you just put totally in another word, and then people go, I understand.
Totally makes sense. See, I hate racist black people. I hate racist white people. I hate racist anybody.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Me too.
Yeah, I hate
what they have embedded in them. I know that people's spirits can change, but. And maybe some, can't. Of course, some can't.
Yeah, but it's a lack of understanding for people.
That,
it's a lack of IQ. It's a lack of fucking looking up the actual. It's a lack of looking up the actual videos and everything behind it. So I think what we should be doing is focusing it back towards pointing the hate in the right direction. And if we did that, we're gonna watch a video that's gonna show some hate being pointed towards somebody.
We might watch the video after a break.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. But it's something where I think in this video
it directly insight,
look, this directly just points out where what I think we should be doing is pointing hate towards the people that push policies that
segregate us.
that
even
segregate
more and
us.
get us
I think
at
we
each
should
other's
hate these
throats,
people.
right?
I think we should hate people that push these policies and affirm these policies. I don't think it's like, oh, it's hatred, it's racial. It's like there's a difference between racial discrimination, sexism, and hate. Hate is the inverse of love, and you can hate someone reasonably for just and right reasons. It is a necessary human emotion. You need it to be able to, if you're an empathetic person at all, you need it to be able to carry out doing bad things that you will need to do sometimes in your life. So yeah, we'll have a quick break and then we'll watch this clip. So
Yeah, too easy.
we'll go to a
Looking
whizzer.
forward to
We'll
it.
be back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a cigarette.
Yeah, too easy. Thanks
see
for
you soon.
tuning in, guys. We'll see you in a jiffy. G'day. Oh, look at that.
Howdy.
Look, the camera's perfect. I
Oh, good.
accidentally hit it on the way out. Shouldn't have told you that. I would have played it off great.
He was that keen to wee. He fucking bolted out of here and slammed it downwards on his way.
Yeah.
Fucking slapped the thing out of the way.
Yeah, that was yeah. it
No
was-
care. All this money on cameras. God,
I know, and I'm just
God.
kicking stuff and
There's not even that much money actually. It's the only thing we spent is fucking stands.
yeah.
We kind of already had this
We're
shit.
kind of already all this stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So we'll get into this video. It's Dr. Phil. Obviously, I haven't seen it. I've glazed upon it. It's someone that's kind of pointing out how far things have turned the opposite way. Part of what I wanted to point out is I think that, again, I don't think there is a prevalent amount of racism against black people, but I am seeing the racism against white people grow.
Oh yeah.
In like Western countries, not
It's
even like
Western, yeah.
because hatred against white people happens like just racism.
It's a trend. You get praised for going, oh, white people this, white people
Well, it's
that.
it's
right?
happened. It's happened a lot all over the world.
Mm.
It's happened a lot all over the world. But something that you typically wouldn't see is that it happens in a Western country where the majority is white, and then even so, like the highest taxpayers, that like some of the most influential and like productive people in society and useful people in society have been like white males, and that's just because there's a bunch of just people. Like it's not like respect to white males. It's just like there's people. There's just a bunch of them.
Opportunities to do those things,
And because there's so many of them, there's also
Western
been
world can give that.
And because there's so many, there's also going to be some bad white males. But what you don't want to do is get into this train of going, okay, because some people were bad in the past, what we're going to do now is inflict this same amount of ridiculously, stupidly aimed hatred and racism towards their descendants because we want revenge and we want to actually see it inverse, even though we didn't experience anything bad, but we just know that we're in a position to take power and to push people down because we have some sort of moral high ground on them because of our ancestors were victims to their ancestors. Ancestors.
And
It's a
that's
stupid fucking clause, and this is a prime example of it in
DEI when they're trying to.
Well, yeah, this guy speaks on it. This guy speaks on it in the video. He's a direct victim of it. So we'll do some Dr. Phil out.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. Hey, look at that. Oh, we've switched him. All right, here we go.
That's a back.
Daniel, a young white man, says he feels that DEI policies are making him a victim of reverse racism. Take a look.
I feel like people are getting an unfair advantage because of their skin color. I grew up in a predominantly white area. I come from nothing. I was on free lunch in high school, which is like the lowest. So I got a full ride because I grew up in a single mother household. When I got to college, there was this huge emphasis on race. DEI is just fundamentally wrong. Why should a rich black kid have an advantage over a white kid like me who was on food stamps in high school? Remember, I got to my college, and in my very first month, I could not participate in a debate tournament because I was white. White male confidence is simply under attack. I mean, who's committing the most suicides? It's white men. Well, I think a lot of white people are seeing this anti-white sentiment and they're feeling unfair because they look at these universities and they say white people founded these universities, white people founded America, and yet now we're treated like second-class people. And when there's classes called the problem of whiteness, when there's fellowships that ban white students, I think that is a clear sign of one group being treated as beneath another. I went to Twitter, I called out a professor teaching a class called the problem of whiteness, and that led her to call me a cyber terrorist. The New York Times wrote an article and the headline says, "You Chicago, cyberbullying or free speech." And I thought it totally proved my point that white people today cannot even speak up about injustice without being treated like a second-class person. I think the treatment black people received is different because white people are a majority in this country. Black people were always a minority. I think it is different when the majority of the country is treated like a second-class group. I think it's disgraceful. I think if you went to China and you said the problem with Chinese people, they would arrest you. I think if you went to Russia, they would arrest you. And so I'm not saying we should arrest people, but I think we should have some respect for white people because they made America possible.
Daniel, thanks for being here. You feel like this has whipped around and you're paying a price for it.
Absolutely. I remember my very first month in college, I was banned from a debate tournament because I was white. And I know that sounds like a nerdy example, but I think it's just a testament that it has gotten so crazy and even on the smallest things. And it's normalized. I was sitting in this room, the kids were saying, yeah, white people are not allowed because, you know, you guys have been winning too much and we need to even the playing field. And I'm looking around and no one is startled, no one is saying, wait a second. And it just startles me how normalized it is, how unapologetic it is. And I'm just worried what's going to happen in the future. And I don't want to raise any children in a world that simply hates them.
Imagine if we did that to black people with basketball. Imagine if black people started getting turned down and got told,
like,
no, sorry, there's just too many black people in this. You guys keep winning. We're just, we want to even the playing field a little bit here. We need more Asians.
Isn't that DEI? So if we're going to enforce DEI, are we going to do that in NBA too?
That's what it is. For any of you that don't know what DEI is, you can literally just Google DEI, and if you can read English, I'm sure you can because you found this video, then you'll be able to distinguish exactly what it is. But the quick summary of it is essentially policies put in place within organizations and companies that put restrictions on how many of a certain race you can hire as a part of like the whole percentage, and
which is racist. Just hear that, right? Like if you were like a person who just hated a certain race and they were just like, you know what, let's make it worse because now we're hired upon not merit, not how well you can do certain jobs, which is I guess is literally merit. Like it's no, we're gonna. Oh, you have different melanin in your skin,
and all you've done is just
hired. It's like wait, whoa, that hold up, like, you know what? What if? Yeah, let's just say the NBA. Let's say the NBA. Let's say that because honestly, you have the tall black guys who are really good at NBA. Awesome, all power to you guys. Awesome. But if we start enforcing that, and we're like, nah, we want small, we
just want less black
we
people.
want someone who looks like the Penguin, right? We want, some small white dude. This is diverse, equity, and inclusion. Let's do it. Like, what, what? Now the team is going to just not be that great. Yeah. And it's not to say about discrimination on that one person that now has had that diverse equity inclusion involved.
It says it in the name that it's wrong. It says already
based on
it says already equity. It's like equality is ensuring equal opportunities for all people. That is what equality is. Equal opportunities for everybody and equal standings for everybody at base values. Everybody has the same opportunity.
Oh no, equality, that's equality of outcome, my bad.
Equality is literally just equal positions for everyone at standby base value, equal opportunities for everyone. That is what equality means. So everybody has the same chance to get a job if they know, if they study for it. Everyone has the same chance of things if they work for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what equality. And equity is ensuring that there are equal outcomes for people,
which is quality
based on whatever you're trying to put to that. So the problem is it's a subjective view. Problem is what you can do with equity is you can say, well, what we need for equity in this is we need more black people, or we need more like equity doesn't instantly mean like equal across all possible things a human can be. It's subjective as to whatever the person
the skin color that they can't help.
Well, it's subjective towards whatever the person who's put in that DEI policy is trying to gain out of that specific thing.
Yeah.
So let's just say, right, we do, like, they implement DEI in Boy Scouts, right? It's not to implement more black people, it's to implement more girls. DEI isn't always used for race, it's also used for gender and other things like that.
Yeah.
So the problem is it's a subjective thing, whereas equality is objective. There's no opinion on it. It is just equal opportunity for everyone. That's it. Not different in any standard.
You still could have that equal opportunity, and there could still then be 99% bricklayers, which we basically have, and it's because the opportunity is no
different, exactly.
No, women don't want to do bricklaying on, like, compared to men. And that's just a thing. That's just a thing.
But you can if you want,
and you can if you want.
And that's just equality. That's what equality.
But this is the thing. Say if we had a society, which is like, and it's pretty close, is like 90% white people and then 10% black, but we want to go 50% in the workplace black, 50, or let's just do all, like, a quarter of all the races, right? Now you're looking at a lot of white people who just won't have jobs. That's because, and then you've got to start a welfare payment that is like trillions of dollars to make up for that.
Here's the funny thing. Even if you work it out based on percentages of the population to the business, so even if you were to say, like, 30% black people in each company because there's 30% black people as the overall population in the country. Even if you do that, the problem then is if there's 10 unemployed white people, like, and I know there's always going to be fluctuating, but just think of the logic down to the final number. Even if you equalize it perfectly and say there's 33% black people in the population, so there's going to be 33% black people in this business. Well, that means that if 10 white people decide not to work and go on the dole and just bludge or be bums, 10 black people will not be able to get a job because DEI says you won't be able to have a company with all black people. But that's the funny thing is it does, because it's like black exclusivity is all fine. They're doing it in colleges all over America. You just can't have white exclusivity.
Yeah, because it's then deemed as white supremacism.
Exactly. There's white supremacy and then there's exclusivity between other genders.
And mind you, like, I wouldn't really care who I'm with. Like, from what I've grown up with, I wouldn't care who I'm with no matter what skin color you have or what have you. I just think, once you start, it's like the vote in Australia with the Aboriginals to have the choice of having their voice segregated in Parliament or not. Once you make an exclusivity for a certain skin color, you're racist.
You know what? We'll talk about that next time because that's a whole nother thing. I haven't even. I'm going to show you some crazy shit on that. That's going to be next episode. Is going to be that old yes/no vote that happened. Because that's
that would be something good to unfold.
That was fucked.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
For being white, I think that's a fair demand, and I hope America can reach a point where we're simply treated for what we add to society and what we bring, and for actually being a good person.
Do you agree that we should strive to have equal opportunity for everybody?
Absolutely.
And do you agree that there are members of our society, particularly, I'll start by talking about the black community, that does not have equal opportunity?
Well, see, I don't really agree with that, because under the affirmative action system, which only recently ended in 2022, a black kid who went to boarding school in New Hampshire, whose parents worked on Wall Street, who had every advantage, they would still have an advantage in the system than someone like me, who grew up in a single mother household, was low income. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Now, this may not be the White House for you, but I'd be tickled pink to get this little cracker. Check it out. It's $430,000. It is a duplex, so two, 3-bedroom, 3.
Isn't that the exception and not the rule in the black community? Most black youth don't go to a boarding school in Connecticut. They tend to be overrepresented in the lower socioeconomic strata in America. I mean, that's not an opinion, that's a fact.
I still don't see that as a valid reason to give one group an advantage over
Oh, that wasn't my question.
Oh, okay.
My question was, do you agree that they may not have equal opportunity as a group?
Yes, absolutely, they have obstacles.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I'm not a fan of DEI. I don't think it helps them. I don't think it.
No, he's wrong. If every individual has equal opportunity, then just because you happen to be within a race which most people haven't used their equal opportunity well, if there's no laws in place, there's no systems, there's nothing in place, most people aren't racist, like we've talked at the first part of this show then that means just because you so happen, like, I happen to be born with a giant nose and curly hair. Like, does that mean, like, you know, because I had to deal with hot spots on my head as a kid, like, I should get the job over somebody else?
I've known people fairly poor in regards argumentatively, and they have been very educationally, like, great in what they do, because it's about how you yourself
exactly right.
do the job. How, so then, no matter which environment, like, it can be obstacles. I understand that, like, that's where he's coming from, is there's obstacles.
What obstacles?
But everyone has.
But what obstacles?
But everyone has obstacles regardless of where you put it.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly,
what obstacles do black people?
I think it's
people
not
say like.
Yeah, I think it's not a segregationally obstacle. Maybe it's something to do with okay, maybe Black America can say, my grandparents had this and this happened to them when this happened. But the thing is, and you could say that's generational trauma, but you can still make a difference no matter what is running through your brain.
Look, no one in this economy's like any better off anyway, just because you were born with like, it's very hard to be way better off than the next person just because you had rich parents or poor parents.
Because then, if you're
no matter how
rich,
poor you are, you still have access to like, the same real.
Exactly right, and it's like even rich kids still deal with the obstacle of either being a man-child or just depending on their parents' money, and if their it's like then that can be a downfall still. Like, so there are so many argumentative ways. Everyone still has obstacles, and so then that way.
Yeah, so how does that make sense? So
exactly.
If we've discussed that there's no actual racist laws in place, and most people aren't racist, then how do black people have a harder time or have more obstacles? All you're saying,
like in this day and age,
all you're saying is that there's not been a whole lot of and I'm not even saying this. He's saying that because there's not been a whole lot of success compared to another race out of this race,
it's the white.
That means it means they struggle more. There's obstacles, but there's no obstacles. You're still an individual across the board.
You have all these opportunities that you can tackle, like regardless of your melanin.
Yeah, so
right?
I think he's just talking shit. I don't think there's any. Like, he's doubling back on himself because he says straight after, I don't like DEI. I think DEI is a bad thing, Dr. Phil. I don't like DEI. Well, then why are you saying that one fucking gender has, or one race has more obstacles than the other? Sounds like you're a supporter of DEI, you bald mustache fuck. You're an idiot. You're an idiot and you have a fucking multi-million-dollar business. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Maybe
you're doubling back on yourself.
I hope he's playing like some sort of devil's advocate type.
Oh, I hope so too, because you're literally saying the reason why we have this policy you're saying you don't like. You're advocating, you're saying the exact same rhetoric that the people that advocated for this policy said, and you're saying you don't like the policy. How dumb is that?
Yeah.
It helps level the playing field. I think it's the wrong approach to a real problem. I'm just saying, do you acknowledge that the problem exists?
Sure, I do.
You think it actually makes racism worse. Why?
Well, I think it makes racism worse for several reasons. I think, number one, we're treating white people wrong for their skin color. We're treating them differently for their skin color. That is racist in nature. And yet you don't see many people talking about it. And I called it out on my school. A professor called me a cyber terrorist. The New York Times called me a cyber bully. I think that's absurd. I think if a black student called out blatant racism, they would be hailed as a hero. They'd probably receive some awards. Number two, people are going to start wondering, did my doctor actually deserve to be here, or are they a doctor because of affirmative action? Are my pilots actually meant to be here, or are they here because of a quota? And I think that's going to clearly lead to racism.
There are a lot of very successful black professionals that say they live under the pale of that, with people questioning them when they say they worked damn hard to get where they were, and people go, oh, well, you know, you got here because you got a free pass.
Of course, yeah.
And they resent that.
I think today, you know, if you're a young white guy growing up in high school, middle school, odds are, you know, you're gonna have a teacher who says white people are evil, you should feel white guilt, you should feel white fragility. And I just worry that's going to discourage people who are white from pursuing greatness.
Do you think white privilege is real?
Absolutely not. Not today.
Yeah. You don't think it's real today, but you think it's maybe been real in the past?
Sure.
Privilege, but
Historically,
not,
yeah.
I don't
You
think
were
like
labeled
like
a bully
right there now.
and essentially a racist for saying what you were saying.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just privilege now.
It's
not-
hard to judge the like I don't get how people say there's generations, because people have kids in all different variables like throughout the year. So I don't see how it works in every year. I don't see how that generation thing works and how you can really group people up that well, because it's just
Yeah,
scattered
so
completely.
if
But-
my grandfather has PTSD, which he does. I've never experienced that. How do
well,
I
look,
have
that's
that
my
type
point.
of trauma?
But I think if you were the child directly of a slave, maybe that affected you. Like, yeah, maybe. Like, understandable.
but
I can
like-
understand, like, yeah, that you'd have a harder go if
But
if your mum was all fucked up because she literally had scars on her back because she got whipped. I can understand that you would have seen that and like that might fuck you up. But there's nobody alive that's had that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if like 999, you know, 999,999 people out of a million would literally see those scars or see that person in that position and go, that's so fucked up. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Like, that's so awful. Like, most people would really empathize with that position. So it's not like people would be like, ha, you got whipped.
Yeah, no,
Like-
people would obviously feel disgusted.
So maybe
about
if it was your kids, or maybe if your parents were in that position, maybe even your grandparents, but that's such a far variable for what is today. At the end of the day, you're a fucking individual and you live with the exact same rights and liberties as everybody else does. The laws apply to you the same as it applies as
everyone
anybody else of
else,
any
no matter
race or
what skin
gender.
colour.
That doesn't matter. So
unless we put DEI in and now the laws change.
exactly, now you've changed it.
And now it starts to bend in ways where it gets racist.
Yeah, now it's fucked.
And I think this is exactly why white people are so afraid of speaking out about the most blatant injustices imaginable. They don't want to be canceled. They don't want to be called these mean things. And so they just sit back. But they have to speak up. And so that is my goal above anything else, is I simply want to instill confidence. I want to say, you need to speak up about this wrong, about this injustice, about this grotesque discrimination against white people. Because again, it's only going to get worse. And I fear where it's going to go.
And where is that?
I think, you know, I hear, for example, at Yale, a psychiatrist said she has fantasies of shooting white people. And no one spoke up, no one did anything. I fear we're going to get to this most blatant, borderline genocidal rhetoric if it doesn't stop here. I mean, they're going to keep going and going because they're getting away with it. And I truly feel like a lot of these people, they hate white people because they think they're evil. They think they have done evil things. And so they project that hatred onto the current white people. I have nothing to do with what my ancestors did. I was born in 2003, single mother household, pretty much broke. And I'm not going to apologize for what happened in the past if they say that's what's needed.
Well, you can't put that on an entire race of people.
Of course not.
I mean, you're saying that's what black people think.
No, I'm not saying that's what all think, but I do think there is a contingent of black academics and black politicians who legitimately want to make white people go through the same stuff black people maybe went through 100 years ago. They feel like it's now white people's obligation to face that same level of discrimination. And my only question is, where is this going to stop? I do believe in black privilege when it comes to things like university admissions, when it comes to things like job applications. I think black people today because of things like BLM, they have an advantage simply because of their skin color. And I think that's proven. I think when it comes to job applications in 2021.
Just on even the talk of like when he mentioned BLM, just I won't say anything other than just look what they spent the charitable money that came to BLM. The people who own that company and on that foundation and that charity, look at what they spent that money on. That's all I need to say.
On 94% of stock market jobs went to people of color, even though I think they only make up 40% of the population. That is a privilege because of their blackness. And I think it comes from this idea that black people have a disadvantage. Even though we're 50 plus years from segregation, 100 plus years from slavery, we're still under this idea that black people have it harder than whites, and therefore they need some advantage.
Well, my next guest has a PhD in constitutional history and is the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Dr. Betsy McCoy. You've been listening to Daniel.
Yes.
What do you have to say about what he's saying?
Well, there is a real problem, and just in the last 2 years, you can see that there have been so many lawsuits across the country against Macy's, Disney, against Gannett newspapers, against very large corporations that are setting quotas for how many minorities will occupy seats in management, for example. And once you set a particular number, it's inevitable that managers have to push aside the resumes from some of the young white men in order to meet those quotas. Equity, it sounds like the word equality, but really it's just the opposite. It means using preferences for minorities and women, and the inevitable result is that white men are disadvantaged. They go to the back of the line. I'll just give you 2 examples. The American Rescue Act had 2 provisions in it. The first one provided debt relief for farmers, but only black farmers. White farmers need not apply. I can tell you that the white farmers in northern New York, the dairy farmers, really needed that debt relief, but they were ineligible. Secondly, restaurant owners were devastated by COVID, so the law provided relief for them, but only for minority restaurant owners and women restaurant owners. Both of these provisions were overturned in federal court because they violate the 14th Amendment, the precious American notion that we're all treated the same.
So let's take a look at equity versus equality. Equality treats people the same. Identical resources, opportunities, regardless of individual needs. Equity adjusts resources and opportunities based on specific needs to achieve fair outcomes for everyone. The key difference is equality is uniform treatment. Equity are fair outcomes by addressing different needs. And
like that's the thing I mean when it comes like to, I think, at least American left-wing politics in which I was following, and left-wing politics in general, I think is that you've got to be careful about these surface level words, and that's why you see the right go, what do you mean definitionally by fascism? What definitionally do you mean by equity? What definition? Because people just seem to think that equity and equality are so similar on the same outcome, but they're actually like the yin and the yang. Yep. And so, how, like, and it sucks because when people go, educate yourself, people just tend to think, oh yeah, I'll go to college or I'll go to university. No, just look up things and see if it's credible data. Yep. See if it's a credible site. See if that site is either left-wing or right-wing spitting at this data.
I promise you, if I ever have my own island when I have my own island and start my own country, one of the laws is going to be, if you spout off nonsense and completely misinterpret the meaning of a word confidently and don't make it clear to someone, I'm not sure about this, blah, blah, and you confidently say, I just want equality between people, and then you actually definitionally find out you want equity, and then you're like, well, the same thing, or something like that. I think you should be able to be, if you're a man, punched in the face. At least once. Like, at least just once.
To humble the human experience a bit.
Just so you have to deal with your bleeding nose instead of talking. Because it's fucking useless, you spouting off your shit. You're not, like, you are a coal miner, like, you are a ditch digger. Like, you don't... People like to use these big words as a way to seem smart. And in fact,
when they don't know the definitions of these big words, they look
instantly
like
pointing out how
fool.
stupid you are. Like, you couldn't find a quicker way to show someone's IQ. You couldn't find a quicker way to point out how low someone's IQ is than to get them to spout off rhetoric and use words that they don't definitionally understand.
Yeah, and that's why it is vital, if you are having a discussion with someone, is to ask what they mean when they say a word definitionally, because they might not even know. It's like the whole thing with, like, everyone was saying misogynist. No one knew the counteraction for what female is in the on the counterpart, which was misandriny. And misandriny, no one knew it, but they'll say misogynist, and then you'd even ask them, what do they mean by misogynist? What is that word? And they would go, it's when a man yeah, you're right, I don't know. And you just go, well, why are you so passionate about spitting that out?
You know what they'd say? You know what they'd say? And here,
I've had that.
No, it goes back to my problem.
I've had that exact response from at least 2-3 people.
You probably had this one then, and this goes back to my issue. Well, it's just hatred against women. Hate. It's just hatred against women. No, it's fucking not. Misogyny is the fucking... It's thinking you are above, more intelligent, stronger, you are an all-round better being than a female because you are male. That's what misogyny is. It's not hatred. It's using the word hatred.
It's almost like it was it's another definition that isn't equality.
Yeah. My hope is that in time, as we wipe out these words,
might start leaning towards these things that are more hateful in the wrong terms.
Well, it is hateful.
Right?
But my hope is that as we see the woke dying to a degree, and we start to see the words like fascist and racist die off, my hope is that we will also see the word hate die off, because it's just being used more. It's the most incorrectly used word. It is the most incorrect. It's way
used
more
to
incorrectly
shame
used.
someone instead of actually understand why they say they don't like a specific group, because again, like if you go to definitionally,
if you want to seem morally just and you want to seem right, all you got to do to seem like a nice person is say, "I don't like hateful people."
It's a virtue. It's like a moral virtue. It's virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
and it's
what
crazy
it is.
because it's like,
signaling.
I don't like hateful people. It's like, do you mean you hate hateful people?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
That's fair.
What do you want about? Hate is an emotion just as much as love is. It's the dumbest thing. I don't like hateful people. I don't stand for hateful people. I try not to be a hateful person. Why? Because you hate hateful people? Shut the fuck up. You're just misusing the word just as much as people misuse the word fascist, misogynist, sexist, racist, biased.
That's why I think it was very strong and hitting when Jesus said, love everyone. It's like, whoa, how do I do that? Let me figure that out. But, like, I get it's the everyone and hate the thing, the sin that these people, right?
And that's the majority
from a Christian perspective. And maybe where a secular person can go, well, yeah, if a Christian says sin is something that we morally can justify as something that is bad, then yeah, we should hate this thing that is bad.
But I also think as a person
that is happening as
develops, I think as a person has a major development in their personality or their reasoning, their ethics, whatever, I think the last person dies. So I think it's okay to hate someone as they are, because to some degree, that person eventually goes away. That person doesn't exist anymore. Like when you have a kid, like you become a different person.
Well, it hits harder for me eternally because God will just send them to the hellfire.
Yeah, but I mean, when they say that person dies and there's a new person.
Yeah.
Well, then,
like
isn't
when I
that
was
isn't that
revived
bad to hate someone that's a criminal? Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to say I don't just hate the crimes this person's doing. I hate them because they commit so many. I hate them, and if they change and don't become that anymore, then you cannot hate them.
That's it. Yeah, there's
so
the spirit that changes.
So simple. See, hate isn't that fucking bad, you fucking idiots.
This gets into something that's being really subjective, what the people that are administering the program value, if it's race or if it's gender or what, they can just decide, and then they start dispensing things based on trying to create some outcome, correct?
It's very subjective, but as you just pointed out, Dr. Phil, it's not necessarily fair because it's not true that only minority restaurant owners needed help. There were plenty of white male restaurant owners who were in deep trouble during COVID. They had to shut down. They lost their businesses. But they were told just because of the color of their skin, and those white farmers were told just because of the color of their skin, they were ineligible.
And you say the best way to end racial discrimination is to stop discriminating based on race, period, whether it's white, black, whatever.
And I borrowed that from Chief Justice John Roberts.
Here's John Roberts' quote about that. The way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race.
Exactly. Dude just stole the words out of my mouth.
That's almost a great place to end it, because that's just fucking perfect.
That's how you, is that like literally how, that's exactly how you should, like.
Yeah,
I
that's
just,
so perfect.
Duh.
Yeah.
If you realize that everyone has different race and then you're like, I hate this race because of this, and then I'm going to put hate on them, and then societally everyone just loves that we hate this race. Guess what? You continued it.
Yeah.
You became everything you swore you would stop.
Yeah.
You failed. You failed. Beep bop beep.
Yeah.
You are dead. Beep bop beep.
You fucked up.
That's what it.
So here's my thing. I reckon instead of trying to, because here's what I think happens is, because hate is a reasonable human emotion, what we have majority on the left right now, and like all positions that, like, what we have is the KKK hate black people because there's all this hate inside them and they need to get it out, and they don't have a reasonable place to put it, right? Because the world is a lot easier than it used to be thousands of years ago when we were around and had to use hate a lot more.
Dude, we only just recently got running hot water, like the last 50 years. Right?
Yeah, I know.
So that's cool.
Gnarly. So my thinking then is, part of why we have this large group of people that's constantly, why we have, like, you know, like people getting shot in the neck at their own rallies and stuff, is because people have this inner feeling that they don't have a way to get out. They don't have an outlet. They don't have something that reasonably disposes this hate. And we can see this when we look at people that, like, get into, I just only today seen there's like a group of kids in America that are now going around and finding child abusers, and they're making them do like the hot chip challenge and stuff like that. See, they have hate and they look like a bunch of like gangbangers, like they like got like hoods and stuff, and they look like they're ready to like do bad stuff, and instead they're pointing this hate towards something good. They're doing something good with it,
manipulating the energy that you can manipulate
exactly.
as a human being.
But I think all these people that are going off their head and calling people racist and like trying to shut people down and, you know, cancel people and stuff, I think it's the hate that they just have as humans that they're not focusing in the right direction. So here's what I propose, right? I propose we start pointing that hate towards stupid people that don't admit they're stupid. Isn't one of the best things in the world someone that goes, hey, I'm an idiot and I know I am. I'm like, I don't say I'm smart. I know I'm not that smart. And you're like, I like this person. Instantly. So if you're dumb, just fucking admit you're dumb and we'll all get along. That's fine.
Well, that's it's I can kind of see these sort of parables with I still believe that bless them that they do not know what they're doing. Like, even if you're you know what I mean?
Funny, because they probably don't, because they're too fucking stupid to know that they're too stupid to be smart.
So even in that context, I still, even if people are doing these hateful things, I will do something about it if it's evil.
Yeah.
But I still want to bless the person and not bless the evil. I want to destroy the evil. There's a split.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
you've got to do something about the person to be able to do that. So like the people,
justice.
like,
so and like there needs to still be justice. Something needs to be paid for. Something needs to be sacrificed.
So like the person that like shot Charlie Kirk and said, I just can't stand the hate anymore, and yet he's not a hateful person whatsoever.
Needs justice,
or didn't he's
there
like
needs to be justice served.
Yeah, he didn't hate on people. Like he used how you use hate more so. He hated things, not people more so. So for that
But he
person,
killed a person still. That's hate. That's hating a person.
No, Charlie Kirk.
Oh, Charlie Kirk. Sorry, I thought the other
Charlie
guy who
Kirk
killed the
used
person who
used your
supposedly
theory
killed
of
him.
hating things, not hating people, hating the things people do. But the guy said in his text messages to his little fucking furry fuckmate, he said in his text messages, "Oh, I just couldn't stand the hate anymore," and it's like. He wasn't at all like he didn't hate on people, so you couldn't stand the fact that he hated the bad things that happened in the world.
It comes back to definitionally these people because they're so surface level.
See, stupid.
Don't know what
Stupid. Didn't admit he's stupid.
I really recommend that we should just be handing out. I mean, not only Bibles, but dictionaries.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Hey,
but,
have a dictionary. Just remember what you're saying.
yeah, but I think just like you can hate an irresponsible person, like a super irresponsible and bad person, and then not hate them anymore when they change their life, I think we can hate stupid people, and then when they
Until
admit they're stupid, we can not hate them anymore. Or when they educate themselves or actually do some things to, fucking get the synapse firing in their brain and educate themselves on a lot of things that they want to speak up upon, then they'd be a little bit more informed, and that would be a lot more of an intellectual way to come at the situation, meaning they're probably a little bit more of a hierarchy at that point.
But if you hated them, you wouldn't want to teach them a lesson. If you loved them, you would want to teach them a lesson. So I think that's still a form of love.
Yeah, but again, I believe that a person as they are can die. And a new person can evolve from that. So I want that person, I want that dumb person to die. And that doesn't mean that them specifically, their life is over, but it means as they are dies.
Yeah, that sin with them dies and they get reborn anew
So
through
as I
Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior.
But as I said at the start of this, when you said what does hate mean, I said okay with it not existing anymore, or going away or dying. I meant that, but what I mean then is not that I want a person to die. What I mean is the way they are and live, and the way they think and their ideas as they are now. I would be happy with that not existing and dying. And I think that's the way we can approach stupid people. I don't think it's people that are being.
We can bless them in a.
Yeah, I don't even think it's leftists or rightists or this or that. I think it's just dumb people and smart people. I think it's just dumb people and then smart people and dumb people that admit they're dumb. I think it's just as simple as that.
And I think tolerance as well is like if you're trying to tolerate someone, like I wouldn't suggest someone just tolerate them by enabling them. Like, and that could be, if I was a loving Christian and I was trying to tolerate someone that was doing something sinful and saying loving them, it doesn't mean I should be enabling that and going, no, I love them, they can still do whatever they want. You're meant to fight the evil.
Yep.
Fight the evil.
Yep.
So I understand where you are.
And so you almost have to hate. To fight against it, you have to hate the person as they are. Because if you're like, I love the person as they are, even with all their child fuckingness, you have to go, no, I hate that. I'm going to put them in prison. I'm going to make them stop.
Yeah, I love that the person, but not as they are. I think that's where I can sort of get as close as possible to you.
Exactly.
Is I love the person, but not as they are.
See, and I hate the person as they are now is what I'm saying. I think hating a person as they are now is okay, and I think we need to do that. And hating stupid people that are unadmittedly fucking stupid is definitely a great way to go about sorting out the fucking world, I think. So, you know what? I used to say I don't give prescriptions. I give prescriptions. Hate stupid people, unless they admit they're stupid.
That's fair. Fair point.
They don't do any good unless they're willing to be like, hey, I'm not the smartest. Like, sometimes I fuck up, I make mistakes. I don't really know. I'm not going to act like I do. Like, that's a fine person to have around. That's useful. That's most of us. There's also some geniuses out there, and they're great. They do awesome things. They make all the stuff that we fucking use. But I think the dumb people that won't just say, yeah, look, I'm not a genius. I'm not that smart. I think those people can fuck off. I don't think we have any need for them.
Well, at least the ones that are admitting, at least they'll at least try.
Yeah.
Because they know what they're an inept in, right?
Yep.
And they won't just sit there and go, I'm inept in this now.
I think even most Down syndrome people, if you were like, do you think you're very smart? They'd be like, not as smart as him. So, yeah, that's my prescription.
Fair.
Hate stupid people. Don't hate racists. Don't hate racists. Don't hate sexists. Don't hate misogynists. Hate stupid people, because that's directing hate towards a proper thing.
Love everybody, guys.
Goodbye.
Hate the sin.
We'll
Hate
see you
the
next
sin.
time. This has been the Deadset Show.
Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Much
Mwah.
love.